you very much. So I'm up on the big stage, in charge. So let me ask you then, everybody, did you have a specific reason for coming here today? I presume yes. You wanted to learn something that's different? So what I ask you to do, and this is what I always ask people to do, is listen to me with an open mind. Lay down, as we were saying before, lay down everything you've known in the past and just be open to knowing something different. Because what you've known in the past has only got you to here, hasn't it? And you're all here because you want something different, so let's go for something different. So, I presume that maybe you're not in the relationship that you want to be in. I presume that you like things to be different. And from the conversations I've already had in the room, it's about people wanting to know why they do what they do and how they get into the relationships they get into. And when they're in them, how on earth do they get out, or should they? And it appears that one of the biggest fears is people being on their own. And that hooks a lot of people into relationships that don't work for them. So, who's up for some fun? Yeah? Yeah. So this is going to be interactive. So this is just before lunch, so a bit of energy into the room. So we'll do some exercises in just a moment. If you'd like to all join in. So first of all, let me explain to you, if I can, about what brought me to this point in my life. And I'm not going into life history, but when I was a child, I lived with parents that didn't speak to one another. And when I can remember Christmas coming up, all I ever wanted was for my parents to talk to one another. That's all I wanted for Christmas. But actually, I've always believed that my life experiences have led me to this place so that I have an empathy for other people, and that's what I use in my work as a counsellor and as a relationship coach. And so, apparently I learned to read waves, sound waves, because when there's no sound around you, you have to pick up on body language. And I think a little bit of that might have something to do with masculine and feminine energy. What do you think, guys? Yeah? Yeah? So, as I said, I'm a relationship coach and I work with couples. I've worked with Relate for about 5 years and now I work in private practice. I also work with survivors of sexual abuse, and that gives me a deep insight into the psyche of the human mind and how we can defend ourselves, how that self-sabotage kicks in. So I'm going to share some of that with you today. So in the course of this, I've put together have you heard of the 7 C's of Rye by Queen? No, maybe you're not as old as me, but they made a record. Yes, I have a few nods, thank you. 7 C's of Rye. Well, I've got the 7 C's of relationships. And these are what I believe contribute to relationships. First of all, it's the choices that you make, who you choose to be with, and why. Then there's chemistry. Obviously, if we're attracted to somebody, it's about the attraction and the chemistry that goes on. The next is conflict. Where are those conflicts in relationship? Where do they come in and how do you deal with them? Then there's compliments. As Elliot was saying earlier about your values and how your values affect who you choose in a partner, whether they're right or wrong. And I think the realisation is that actually you don't have to choose somebody with the same values as you. You need a complement of those values. And it's this that we're going to be looking at in a little while in a bit more depth, that complement, the masculine and the feminine energy and how important that is in relationships. Then there's communication. Now, the majority of couples that I work with, the number one problem is communication. And once they sort that out, it's like magic. The guys learn to listen to the girls, and the girls learn to communicate better with their men. And when they realise that there is a difference between how they communicate, it sorts a lot of problems out. Now, who in this room has problems communicating with their partner or their boss or anybody else? Just me? No, there's a few of us in here that have a problem with communication. And I was having a conversation earlier with the young lady over there that's Miss Matchmaker, and we were saying about affairs. And my work with couples actually changed my view on affairs as to why people have affairs. And not in every single case, but quite a few times, an affair was actually a cry for help. where the couples weren't communicating with themselves, and where there was problems that they didn't discuss openly, and therefore the answer, so it seemed, was to have an affair. Was that the answer really? No. Communication was the answer. And so I learned to see affairs in a different light. And I don't know if it applies to anybody in the room, but you know, that's another lack of communication on a lot of occasions. So that's communication. And then continuation. The first 2 stages, as Elliot told you, and then the third one is how you continue in that relationship to actually get to where you want to be and live a happy life. And I shared with you just now, my number one value is having fun. Fun and laughter. Because if there's no fun and laughter in my life, what's anything else anyway? You know, you're too busy being miserable, can't you? So it's fun and laughter. Creating laughter somewhere along there. So that's the 7 C's. So we're going to look at the communication, not the communication, the complement in a bit greater detail. And this is where the masculine and feminine energy comes in. Who's excited about masculine and feminine energy? Yes, you are. Because when you learn about this, it's a huge insight into the way you behave, how you communicate, and how the relationships work. Now, does anybody here think that they're completely masculine? Not even the guys. Does anybody think that they're completely feminine? Not even the girls. And so, there's that mix, isn't there? And we'll go on to look at that. So, now I would like to have 2 volunteers, if that's okay, because I'd like to run a little exercise. I'd like 1 guy and 1 girl, if that's okay. Anybody? Thank you. 1 guy, give a round of applause here for our first volunteer. And now to compliment this guy, we need a girl.
Don't all rush.
Don't all rush at once. Are you available?
Yeah.
He's available?
1 person here, I think.
1 person here? Yeah, come on down. Come on down. Come on down. Now you see, has anybody heard the word fear? There's fears in life, isn't there? And a lot of my work is about getting people to overcome their fears. I have a huge fear of microphones, which is, I've overcome that one, just about, apparently. The second one is writing on a flip chart. Because in that moment I think, I can't spell, and my mind goes blank. So, I'm going to give our young lady the red pen, and the young gentleman the black pen. And what I'm going to ask you to do, just for the next few minutes, I want you to, thinking about values, I want you to shout me out some values, and then we're going to decide who's going to write them on the flip chart. Is that okay with you? You might want to step over this side. So let's start with a value. Just give me a value in life. Sorry?
Honesty.
Honesty. Okay, so who needs to write that up here? Is this a masculine value or a feminine value? Both. Okay, so if you both like to write honesty up there. Next
Freedom.
one. Freedom. Who does that apply to? Masculine, feminine? Both? Freedom then? Oh, this is working well, isn't it? Oh, nice, neat writing. Next one. Trust. Trust, is that both?
Both.
You write the list already? What else have you got on there? What else have we got?
Safety.
Safety.
Being safe.
Who's that more important to you, masculine or feminine?
Or feminine.
Feminine. So that's our red pen then. So safety is more feminine. What else?
Love.
Love? Who's that more important to?
Both.
Both? Is it?
Feminine.
More of a feminine one, would you say?
Yes, yeah, more feminine.
More feminine? Love? No? No?
Respect.
Respect.
No, it's more than love there.
You want love? Love and respect?
Yeah. Let's go.
I think love is both men and women.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, love's both men and women, yeah?
I'm putting it on there anyway.
Yeah. See? That's the masculine trait. Have you noticed that? I'm putting it on there anyway. The feminine, no, love's on both sides, isn't it? No, I'm putting it in there. So, love, respect we had. Respect? Both?
Yeah.
So what are we going to say then that's any different?
What is power?
Power. Ah, that's a good one. Where does power come in? Definitely masculine?
Not definitely.
No, this is This is a masculine value. A masculine value. Or is power? Is power?
I gotta get out more.
Changing.
You've got to get out more. It's changing. See, interesting discussion now, isn't it? So power. Where are we going to put power? Masculine. He's looking very smug there. He's having power. Do you want power on this side? You do good. No? And we are going to look now at, a little bit later, masculine girls and feminine guys. Because we're talking on the end of the scale here, aren't we? We're talking masculine or feminine. But I don't see it like that. I see it as though it's a sphere. And in my work, believe me, I work with lots of different people that could be masculine, feminine, masculine, all sorts of mixes.
But we carry both, don't we?
We carry both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
So-
you're looking at the word itself, the energy, it's a masculine energy.
Masculine energy.
Yes.
Okay, there's feminine energy too, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so have we got enough in our list? Has anybody got any burning need to put anything else up there? Okay, thank you guys, that's really good. Thank you very much. Give them a round of applause, thank you. You've seen that new Saturday night show, Hypnotism, on the stage? Should have all hypnotised you all before we started and got you to do wacky things. So we've got our list here now of the values. And how are we going to translate that into energy? So this is the feminine energy on this side. And the feminine is generally nurturing, caring. The feminine side is childbearing, so it's got that nurturing, caring side. It's intuitive, healing and calm. It's got emotional awareness, expression and communication of emotions. Are we agreeing on that? Guys and girls, are we all in agreement? Yeah? Yeah. And on the masculine side, we've got logic, reason, energy of action, firm, ease of acquiring material needs, survival and common sense. So the masculine energy up here is very much hunter-gatherer. Masculine always used to be, didn't it? Years gone past. Maybe even the cave era. Guys, hunter-gatherer, girls, childbearing, stay at home. And do you think, in this day and age, that some of that energy and those roles have got mixed up maybe a little bit?
Yeah, change, yes.
They're changing. And so it's not a definite hunter-gatherer. It's not a definite nurturer. It's not a definite male, and it's not a definite female. Now, yes?
Are we talking about roles which can evolve over time as culture changes, or are we talking about something that's more innate than that? Because
We're talking about the energy that's involved, the masculine and the feminine energy, which then dictates your role. And we're going to look just now at the masculine and feminine that we have in ourselves. So this is the energy that's involved in masculine. Not the masculine role, but the masculine energy. The testosterone-fueled, aggressive, masculine energy, as opposed to the female, nurturing, loving energy. Yeah, does that make sense? Okay? So this is the energy that's involved in masculine and feminine. So, now the interesting thing about this slide is that when I looked for a picture of a masculine male, I couldn't find one with their clothes on. What does that tell you? I'm masculine, this is my body. So this is our masculine, and this will answer your question here, this is our masculine energy male and a feminine energy female. And the big thing about relationships is that actually men and women aren't different in as much as they're made to complement each other. The masculine has strengths and the feminine has strengths. And what we need to do is balance those so that there's a balance, so that it works for both. It's not about being totally masculine sometimes with the totally feminine. It's about blending those together. So far, is everybody okay with that?
So there's no Mars, there's no Venus and Mars then?
No Venus and Mars? Who's Venus and Mars? Who's from Venus?
No, I don't know.
Who's from Mars? Who's from somewhere in between?
No.
Who got caught up in the eclipse that happened yesterday? Where are we all? We're all in our individual space. And now, just to give you an example of that, I'd like you to do this little bit of an exercise with me, if that's okay with you. I'd like you to just relax for a moment and remember that imagination is everything. What's in your imagination can become real, and if you can't imagine it, you can't get there, can you? And if you'd like to close your eyes and play along with me just for a moment. And now we're looking for the different energies. So I want you to imagine walking down a corridor and going into a room. And in this room, there's a big mirror at the other side. And as you walk into the room and you close the door behind you, you see yourself in the mirror. Now on this occasion, I want you to look in that mirror and I want you to see you as a female. And it's all right, guys, you won't be going out wearing dresses. It's just see yourself as a female and really get in touch with that feminine energy that you might find in yourself. Notice where it feels, how you can feel it in your body. Notice how it affects you. Notice the power of it and what it could do for you. What strength would it give you? Just get really in touch with that feminine energy. But notice how much of it you've got that actually belongs to you. And now as you notice that in the mirror, just take one last look and then walk back out of that room and close the door. Go a little bit further along the corridor and then into the next room. Walk into the room and you notice in this room there's a mirror on the far side of the wall. And as you look into this mirror, notice the masculine energy in yourself. Notice yourself as a male. The strength, the masculine power within yourself. Notice how much of it you've got. Notice what it enables you to do. Notice how strong it makes you feel. Or not, as the case may be. Really get in touch with that masculine energy within you. And notice how strong it makes you feel and what it gives you. And when you've taken a gauge of your masculine energy, just walk out of that room again and close the door. And come back along the corridor, back down into this room here. And you've arrived here. And as you open your eyes, just notice how you feel about the difference between the energy, masculine and feminine. Now, can I ask you, would anybody like to share what they found out in that process? Was anybody surprised at what they found out? Yes?
I didn't feel anything about being a woman, so I didn't feel there was anything different when I just felt as I am. I just didn't feel anything different. When I went in as a man, I kind of felt like the confidence. It was like the confidence. That there's the confidence in the belief you can do it. And also the feeling about not... the feeling about childbearing, that's what came in my head.
When you were
As a man.
as a man?
Yeah, the lack, how important it is that it's something that you can't do.
Okay.
But it's something important and it gives you it's the power of it.
For childbearing?
Yeah.
So you're
As a
fit.
child, to be able
Okay,
to
so
bear
you're
a child.
you're feeling as a man, you haven't got that power, is the word you've used, yeah. So that for you gave you an insight into the masculine, that doesn't give you any power. What else has anybody found out? Any difference? Yeah.
I always assumed that I had quite a lot of masculine energy, and I was like successful at work. And I'm like, in that masculine room, I found it really hard to feel much of it.
Mhm.
And just clocked that actually my work is all about nurturing and flow and softness and holding space for people. Like, ooh. And in the feminine room, just flow and softness was really strong and powerful.
And it's funny that the conversation we were having earlier, you told me how masculine you were,
Yeah.
and it's when you've looked into it, it's not that way at all. So was that insightful for people? Does that give you an insight into the fact that we're all very much made of both? Yes.
I found in the masculine mirror that I did not want to take it on.
You didn't want to be
I didn't
masculine.
want to take on the masculine. I was liking the feminine side
Mhm.
and being ugly. Or I was like, I don't really want to take on the masculine.
So you wanted to stay on your feminine side?
The masculine guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would that tell you in a relationship that you don't want to take on any of the masculine? Who would be your ideal partner?
Taking in charge, but also we communicate, but him to take charge as the masculine. Let him keep the masculine side.
Okay,
I
and
want to take it on.
that's right, you don't want the masculine, so you'll be quite happy with somebody
Yeah.
that's totally in their masculine role. And so do you see where this is going? That actually when you're looking for somebody or you are with somebody, it's very much that complement. If you've got somebody that's totally feminine, they can't necessarily be with somebody else that's totally feminine. There needs to be a mix. Thank you for that. I think that's very insightful. So where's all this leading? It's leading to balance. Masculine, feminine. 2 batteries. Positive, minus. And when we look at these batteries, and if you imagine yourself as one of them, with the amount of charge that you've got, masculine to feminine, you might want to rate yourself on a 1 to 10 score for each one of them. Where would you be on this side in this battery? And who, as the lady over there said, would you be looking for to complement you on the other side? So if you've got high masculine energy here, you might want high feminine energy to make the balance. If you've got low masculine energy, no, the other way around, high masculine, low feminine, high feminine, have I got tripped up? Help me out here. If you've got high feminine, you need low masculine. If you've got high masculine, low feminine. That doesn't sound right, does it? No. Because you're high feminine, you need high masculine. Yeah. Now you see, if I'd have taught you everything that I knew, you'd know the answer to that, because obviously I haven't got a clue standing up here. Maybe that's why I haven't found my perfect match just yet, because I really don't know what's going on. So, but do you see where we're going? That you've got the balance, and the balance, as the lady over there demonstrated beautifully, that whatever you are in your life, you need practically the opposite on the other side, and there's a balance. So if this is with a really masculine male, and I'm taking it as a male-female partnership, but from my work I know that there's partnerships of all different energies, masculine, feminine. But for this the lady's smiling over there, for this purpose I'm talking male-female. Male-female, who you're looking at and what might complement you when you're looking for a partner, or when you're with a partner and you want to stay with them, and balancing that energy, bringing some feminine in, bringing some masculine in. The masculine is about the power and the decision making, and the feminine is about the nurturing. And whether we like it or not, those are our strengths, if that's the energy that we've got. So the masculine and feminine. Is there any questions on that? I can see you're all in need of coffee, moving around, lunch.
Yeah, but my question is, if you had a male who scored 10 on whatever the male score is, and a woman who scored 10 on the female, is that necessarily the best relationship? Or would you be better having, say, a male who's 8 and a female who's 6, so you've got a smaller gap between the two? Could the gap be too great?
That's a very precise way of looking at it. If you're 10 masculine, you need 10 feminine. In fact, relationships are about a lot more than that, except that, with high masculine, you can't have high masculine. because that's not going to work. And an example, I do most of my study in the field in human life. I'm a great people watcher. I've learned so much from my clients. And I had the benefit, exactly on this subject, the benefit the other night of being out with 2 guys. Now, I thought we were going to go and have a drink in the bar. No, there was obviously another agenda going on, because as I walked out in my feminine energy wanting everything to be okay, these 2 guys almost turned into alpha males in front of my very face and started, it's very territorial, and you know, I could only have a conversation with one of them, and I'm speaking as a female with males, this isn't anti-guys or whatever, anything else, this is just an observation, that it was very territorial, and that if I was speaking to one, the other one didn't want to join in the conversation, and actually as much as I tried to get them both involved, they weren't having it. And I thought that was quite interesting as a demonstration of that masculine energy just being performed, and I'm sure it's thinking about then the reverse on the feminine, but I couldn't, me being a girl, I couldn't quite get
Can
that.
I say something?
Yeah?
But in a male and female relationship, isn't it that we, as a female, you have both?
Yeah.
You have both the masculine and the feminine, and in the male is the same thing. But it may be that the will is higher in one, whereas the love is high in one, and then you have the fact that the other person can be oppressed by that. As you were describing, you couldn't get through to them.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be that the both of them have to get together with communication and learn to understand each other, right? Or bringing the love up, the male bringing the love up to to his will, so that it can really work with his partner.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have too much will, you can be very oppressive
That's
to
right.
the other person. So it's both of you.
It's both of you to get this balance between these 2 badges here. It's up to that balance between the masculine and the feminine.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just running out of time here, so I haven't got. If anybody wants to come and speak to me any further on this, I'm over. I'm in the naughty corner over there with my whole thing is about passion, and that little red heart over there was my grandchildren's present to me on Mother's Day. So passion is passion is passion, and that's what I'd like to leave you with. Life is short. Live yours with passion. Be passionate about what you do, and be passionate about who you do it with. Thank you.